Greetings, my friends. I brought you a new bracelet today that I call the Simply Elegant Cuff Bracelet because it was really simple and I think it turned out pretty elegant. I'm using Sculpey Premo Accents in translucent and yellow gold glitter. I've got my Christy Friesen mica powder over there, and I'm also using some super glue in the gel formula. I like this because it really kind of hangs on and it's easy to place without making a mess. So I'm going to set aside a couple things and show you the molds. The molds are from Hobby Lobby. They're from Sculpey. That's a really cool one down there I use a lot. That one in the middle is from Polymer Clay TV, Create Along, and I love it. Now, the links are down there. You can find stuff. This is from Amico. It's kind of old, but you might still be able to get it. I love this mold, or texture sheet. They call that same thing. This is a fondant mold. So is that big one. And those are from Hobby Lobby. And I really like them. You can use them with resin and all kinds of stuff. But today we're using it with polymer. And you see that pattern, that kind of daisy pattern really lends itself to easy placement of the gems. That's why I used it today. You can see right where to put them and just go really nicely. These are pliers that I have. These are from Teresa, I think, but you can get all kinds of jewelry pliers pretty inexpensively. You need 2 pair. Here's my tiny Pandora display here. This is the new kit. I'll give you a link to that too. And it's got 5 of the same size cuffs and then 5 different colors of findings. And that way, you can kind of customize it a little bit more and add it on to your Easy Cuffs templates and stuff. And we'll see if you like that. I hope you do. I also included some nice gemstones. These are so pretty, these crystals. They're pointy backed and they really settle nicely into indentations with that gel glue, so you'll see that too. So I'm starting with my Easy Cuff kit that you might already have that comes with the templates and the metal things, the forms. And I'm using my little cane bender, that little skinny one, and we're going to use that to make the indentations, but you can use, like a hanger is a nice width for something like that, like a metal hanger if you have one. So, I made a strip, and I'm going to take it off the glass and just put it on my silicone mold. Okay, so I got it laid down on there, and I'm just going to roll over it with my little 3/4 inch cane bender. You don't need a lot of pressure, you just need even pressure. And I don't care if it curls up a little bit in the back or anything, because see, I only need the 6.5 inches, and I make sure that I have that. Just roll it along, not real scientific, and it comes out just fine. Comes out great. Now this pattern's got a nice edging on it, but if you're using a different texture, you're just going to trim it off after it's on the metal. Okay, so don't be worried too much about it. It turns out fine, whatever. Now there we go with the cane bender. That's the little 1/8 inch one. I use it for a lot of things, actually. It's really what I wanted when I invented that little set, because I kept trying to find things that were really small like that. But anyway, I'm just going to sink it down in there and make a pretty good little dent. You don't want to go through the clay, but you want it to be deep enough where it's really going to hang on to your pointy back crystals, okay? So I put one in each spot that I could put one in. I figure I'd be satisfied with that. And when that's ready, I'm going to put it onto the metal and lay it out the way I want to. And now, depending on your pattern, you may want to center your strip a different way, so something's right in the middle on top, or kind of take a look at that before you trim it and make sure you're getting what you want out of your textured strip, and that it's fitting with where the ends are going to land. So I did that a little bit with this one. I got it so that I make sure I have a crystal at each end and it's even and everything, and then you just let it settle down on the metal form. This is my Christy Friesen surface effects is what she calls them. I love this tide pool. It's one of my favorite colors, and it really goes with the look I wanted for this. But see, her combinations are really good because they all coordinate with each other and stuff. So check them out on the link, because I don't like to have great big jars of one color, because what am I going to do with that? I like to have little jars of a lot of colors. That's why I like to get Christy's surface effects here. So at this point you put on as much as you want to, because you know you may want a really deep color, or you may want a lot of gold with kind of a burnish of color. And that's the fun of it, you know. Be sure you do the sides. See those sides and those edges on around the sides there. And then put a little hole in it with a ball stylus, you know, or a little pin. Make sure you've got a space that will admit your 10mm ring there that I'm going to give you, because you don't want it too close, because then it wouldn't be as strong, but you want it close enough where the ring clears it, and you'll see that. It'll be in your hand. You'll see where to put it. So we got that in there. Make sure it goes down to the metal with a nice deep hole. If you don't have a ball stylus, or you forget to do it, you can drill it, or you can just take a hot pin, you know, heat up a hot pin and stick it through there. Okay, just so you end up with a hole for your ring. And I'm going to get ready to bake this 275 Fahrenheit for an hour. Cool it off and take it off the form. Don't forget the sealer though, okay, because you need sealer on mica powder, any sealer that you like. Just be sure you keep it out of the holes. Those holes got to be pristine, see, so that you can put the glue in there and the stones in there, and they stick really, really well as long as they're not full of, you know, mica powder or sealer. So just take an eyeball on that and make sure that the holes are dry and clean, and drop in your gel glue. I use a toothpick because I don't trust myself to squeeze it in there, you know. And it really seats well, and that glue kind of comes up around the bottom of it, and it really, really is a nice bond. Mine have never fallen off. And then I just make sure they're just like I want them. Let it dry. And then it's just really easy, because you just need to take your findings and put them on there. See, so you open them up with your 2 pliers, and you add the rings on there. You add as many rings as you want, and that's the cool thing about this. You've got a tiny wrist, just add a ring on each side and a lobster claw, and, you know, make it small. And if you want to make it a little bit bigger, you add more rings, you know, and 2 lobster claws, but I gave you enough to do it the way you want to do it, okay? And depending on your customer, you know, you can really customize it quite a bit. Now there's 175 approximately gemstones in that little jar, so you're not going to run out. But have fun, okay? Bye-bye.